Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Welcome back to my channel and thank you guys. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your day. I so appreciate it. So this is a later video than usual, but that's okay. Timing is timing, guys. Whatever you're eating or drinking, you can tell me in the comments what time of day you're watching this, where you are in this big wide world. Guys, it is the evening before the sentencing of our Prince Charming, Wade Wilson. So, as you guys know, in 2019, that little bastard Wade Wilson decided to unalive two women, because he's a wimp ass when it comes to men, and also, well, because he felt like it. So his story has changed, as we know, how many times? So he admits to doing it. He tells his dad to tell the police where one of the bodies are of the women that he unalived. And then he takes it back and says, I didn't do that. So he must have ESP to know where women's bodies are. Or he's lying. And I'll go with number two, he's lying. So then it gets better. Wait, it gets better. Then he says, okay, well, it happened because, see, I was in the Keys, and there's an ex-trafficking ring there, and I worked for them, not knowing I was working for them, and when I figured it out, I decided to do the right thing, let everybody go, tell on everybody, and now they've come to get me. And what they've done is they've unalived two people, the people that are in charge of the ex-trafficking ring. They've unalived two people that I was in contact with to set me up, frame me. And they said that I had to call and say it was me. So it was me that made those phone calls, and it was me that confessed. But I only did it because they said that they were going to hurt my family. And there are people that buy this horse shit. So I got a bridge. You want to buy it? It's for sale. Here is the funny bit. There are people that buy into that shit. There are people that believe that shit. And what's worse is there are people that spend their money that want to get a defense for Mr. Wade Wilson. And they're going to ask you to believe in that shit too. So not only are they willing to spend their money or their time if they don't have money, and or both, they want you to spend your money on their make-believe dream of what happened with Wade Wilson. How about Wade Wilson went to a bar, ditched his girlfriend, took her car that he didn't know how to drive, went home with somebody else, was intimate with them while they were sleeping, decided, what the fuck, they're just laying there helpless, let me unalive them, and then take their car and go find a random woman that you need directions from. I believe he did need directions from Diane Ruiz. You know, after he unalived Christine Melton, he needed directions from Diane Ruiz. And so he asks her for directions, but that's not good enough. Let me give you a ride, he says. That's not good enough. He unalives her. He goes and he puts his fingers around her throat and he thinks he's unalived her, but then he finds out, oh, well, she's still breathing. Let me just run her over a few hundred times. All right, I exaggerated there. But let me run her over enough so that she looks like spaghetti. How's that quote? Do you like that one? Well, there are people that think that that's a great come-on line. That's a great, I will marry you after that line. There are people that find that attractive. Really. Not joking. Guys, listen to this. I want you to listen to this. This is from Strange Embers podcast. Okay? So give them credit for this one. But listen, you're not going to believe it.
And I'm going to let her introduce herself. Hello, I'm Brent.
And I'm Scott.
And this
is Strange Embers.
Thanks for being here with us. In this interview, we're going to ask a few questions to find out some things, I guess you would say, about the trial. We're going to ask some really light questions as well. And we'll just kind of move from there with it and see where this goes. So to start out with, Marie, would you like to tell everybody how you know Wade, how you got into doing what you're doing right now?
Yeah, for sure. I began my friendship with Wade a few months ago, and to this day, now I really truly consider him one of my best friends. I reached out to him like many people did on Smart Inmate when I became aware of his case, and I just got invested from there. Honestly, I was a little bit surprised that he even accepted me. He had no idea who I was. I know he just receives names and areas that they live in when he does get a request, so I was honestly pretty shocked that he even answered and responded to me.
Guys, hold the phones there. Just hold the phones there. Do you hear the smile in her voice, the excitement? I can't believe he accepted me. I can't believe he accepted me. Do you not hear the excitement in her voice? She can't believe it. He is sitting alone in a cell block with nothing but time. He's accepting everything because it doesn't cost him anything. And what did she say? We're great friends. They've been talking to each other on the phone for a couple months. He's talked to Kristen, who we call KIOSK Kristen. I call her Unkept Kristen. Okay? He's talked to Breezy. He's talked to a woman named Bonnie who supposedly drug trafficking in the jail. He was responsible for that. But this woman who can't believe that Wade Wilson is accepting correspondence from because he's just so friggin' busy in jail. I mean, wake the fuck up. People like this, women like this, you look desperate, you have a target on your back. You painted it on your back all by yourself. You know how stupid you sound. He accepted me. He accepted me. Man, he accepted your money and your help. That's what he accepted. Your money and your help. Your opportunity for him.
Accepted me. He had no idea who I was. I know he just receives names and areas that they live in when he does get a request. So I was honestly pretty shocked that he even answered and responded to me. When we built our friendship, I made sure that he was aware that I was very familiar already with his case. I had done some research into it because I've always had interest in watching court cases and hearing what they're all about. But we didn't really initially honestly speak much about his case. We really just took the time to be able to get to know each other on a friendship level. And I got to know who he was as an individual. Understandably, over time, things came to where we started discussing more about his case and his innocence.
Hold the phones. Hold the phones. Hold the phones. So, after the friendship developed over the course of, how long did you say? A really long time, 2 months? How you really got to know this man, how you know who he is through phone calls. He's incarcerated. Do you know this man? Do you really think that you know this man? Are you delusional? Marie, you're dangerous. You could possibly be more dangerous than Wade because Wade knows who he is. You are delusional. Is Wade somebody that you would bring home to your family for dinner? Then you, my friend, are much more dangerous than Wade Wilson because he already knows who he is. The fact that you don't know who he is dangerous. And it shows just a mild case of stupidity.
Hearing what they're all about. But we didn't really initially honestly speak much about his case. We really just took the time to be able to get to know each other on a friendship level. And I got to know who he was as an individual. Understandably, over time, things came to where we started discussing more about his case and his innocence. And I was lucky enough that he was willing to tell me his full story. So I really got a good picture of everything that did truly happen. And really, Wade has grown so much over the last 5 years. He's not by any means the person that he used to be, right? He understands the importance of trust and quality in his friendships.
He does.
And that's why I really like to reiterate the fact that even though we've only known each other for a few months, you know, the amount of time isn't necessarily an indicator of the strength of our relationship.
It should be.
Just by us taking the time to get to know each other. We speak honestly several times a day, if not more than that. You know, it's pretty often. We've just really created a stable foundation to our friendship, and I'm super grateful that he trusted me to be not only part of his team, but to be able to make decisions on his behalf.
With you saying y'all speak several times a day, a lot of the times I'm going to go ahead and ask this. Is it a tablet that he has? The kiosk that we hear about, is that a tablet or is it a...
It is. So I laugh over the kiosk. So he does. He has, I always laugh over the kiosk now. He does have access to tablets, typically. I will say that. Now, his access, it's normally from around, 7 in the morning. It always cuts off by 11 that night. But as of right now, understandably, he's had all communications cut off with him. So he has not had access to these tablets since pretty much Saturday, August 10th. Now, these tablets are a little bit different than his kiosk. His kiosk, he did still have some access to it. I do believe that's been fully cut off at this point as well. But the kiosk allows him to accept and reject requests through Smart Inmate. It does not allow him to do anything further than that. He's honestly just a wonderful human being, and we are here, his entire team is here to be his protectors, and we take that job very seriously because we see the good in him, and again, we see his innocence in the fact that he has been framed in this situation.
He's a wonderful individual. How insulting. Why don't you go tell the families of the 2 women that he unalived how wonderful he is? Why don't you tell Mila how wonderful he is after he even said to her, babe, you took that punch I gave you like Floyd Mayweather, like Muhammad Ali, like a champ, babe. What was that? Is that a good guy? Is that a nice guy? I mean, he admitted to that on the phone. Was that part of this plan too? Was that the framing up too? How did he get framed? What's wrong with you? What? How did he get framed, man? How did he get framed? What's wrong with you people? Come on, seriously. Unbelievable. He's a good guy. We trust his innocence. We know he was framed. Man. This guy, Wade Wilson. This guy. Smacky face.
But on the other side of things, Wade's also a very trusting individual, and he wants to see the best in everybody. He wants to believe that everyone has good intentions, and I'm sure that you have seen that there have been a lot of people who have tried to take advantage of him and exploit him, a lot of scammers, and just a lot of negative people who are just here, like I said, to see his demise, because he is in such a compromising position. He's honestly just a wonderful human being, and we are here, his entire team is here to be his protectors, and we take that job very seriously because we see the good in him, and again, we see his innocence in the fact that he has been framed in this situation.
Now, with you saying that, I'm going to ask this as well. Your team, has everybody, you've said that you normally, before where we're at right now, you'd get to speak with him probably up to 3 times a day. Is everybody on your team on the same relationship with him? Have they been able to be in touch with him in the same fashion?
I will tell you that I do probably speak to Wade more than other team members. And again, that's just because of the relationship we built. And being honest, it was originally Wade and I who kind of started this endeavor together and started Team Wade. Now, understandably, as over time, as his popularity grew, so did our team, because you can't necessarily have a team with just one individual, right? So we love our team members, but I will say I probably do speak the most with him about these situations, just because we truly have built that trusting relationship that has lasted for several months now. Our team is wonderful, though. They work 24/7, and we honestly couldn't do it without them. I know I couldn't. I wouldn't be able to keep sane, especially not having the communication with him right now. And really, our main goal, again, is we're here to prove Wade's innocence, to tell his truth, truly get him a new and a fair trial into situations, just because we truly have built that trusting relationship that has lasted for several months now.
2 months.
Our team is wonderful, though. They work 24/7, and we honestly couldn't do it without them. I know I couldn't. I wouldn't be able to keep sane, especially not having the communication with him right now. And really, our main goal, again, is we're here to prove Wade's innocence, to tell his truth, truly get him a new and a fair trial, and to get him released from prison for these crimes that he did not commit, that we all fully believe in.
Who committed them?
We're not here to sexualize Wade, and we're not here because he's an attractive man. I don't think anybody will doubt that he's not. But you can see from our official social media pages that we're really focused on just telling his story and fighting for him to receive a fair trial.
Also, with you saying the way that Wade is, with wanting to protect you, even being in there, how much hatred, how much anger has been directed your way of being essentially the leader of this Save Wade?
You know, I can't even express the amount of messages, honestly, that we receive on a daily basis, both positive and negative. There's been a lot of hatred and anger being directed not only towards Wade, but also our team, and even his supporters on a daily basis. It's been increasingly clear that public opinion is very skewed, and many are losing sight of the core issue at hand, which is ultimately the fact that Wade just deserves a fair and new trial, right? I don't think we can disagree on that.
We can disagree on that.
Now, again, many people believe that our support for Wade is just solely because of his appearance. And again, I can assure you that this is far from the truth. And that's why if you go to our...
So you reached out to him because you found him unattractive? Come on. You don't even believe your own story. If this guy didn't look the way he looks, you wouldn't have reached out to him. You know how many people actually are arrested for things that they didn't do? For real. They might not go to trial, but they've been arrested for things that they didn't do. Some of them go to trial. How come you didn't jump on board with them? Why is it this guy that you jumped on board with? Because he doesn't look like this? Look at it. He's showing off his fake Rolex there. Alleged. But look, this is the guy. This is the guy that you like. This is your Prince Charming. If he didn't look like that, you'd be reaching out to him? Bullshit. I call bullshit. Liar.
Don't get me wrong, we think they're very funny and they're entertaining to watch, but you're not going to see those coming on our pages, because we're here again to be focused on telling Wade's story and to get him a fair trial. Now, I'll tell you, a lot of our supporters, they've been absolutely incredible, but there's a global community of individuals who, there's a couple different things that they're focused on. One, many of them oppose the death penalty in general and don't believe in that. Two, they recognize the numerous inconsistencies in his case and the significant errors that have been made by not only his legal team, but the court proceedings as well. And then a third, they just believe that everyone, regardless of the crimes they're accused of, deserves a fair and impartial trial. I think the biggest thing that has directed a lot of hate and anger towards our way is the spreading of misinformation, speculation, defamation, harassment, and privacy invasions, which I'm sure you've seen. There's a lot that's going on social media right now about that. It's honestly reached alarming levels, and some social media platforms are even allowing it to occur on a daily basis. So I would say that that's probably causing a lot of that hatred and anger that's being directed our way, but I can't say we're allowing it to bother us.
Very good. That's one of the biggest things in the social media world is
Previously associated with as well, who again have, from what we've talked about, have completely changed since that time frame, right? Humans continue to adapt and change. That's who we are. And so, I mean, I can personally say the person who I was 5 years ago is much different than the person I am today.
right.
And honestly, it's really sad because people have families and they're being affected that way too, and they have jobs. And so it's not even about weight at this.
Hold the phone. So did you just say these people have families? What about the 2 women that he unalived? What about their families? Marie, you're an idiot. Guys, I don't know what to say about people like this in our society. People that definitely, it's about looks. Because if he didn't have his looks, nobody would be reaching out to this guy. We know that because there's so many murderers out there and not everybody's getting, pen pals and money and new trials or people trying to get them new trials or all that, or no. Half the time nobody takes an interest. They take an interest in this guy. And you want to believe it's not based on looks. You know nothing about this guy. 2 months you've been on a phone with a hardened criminal who has nothing but time on his hands, yet you get all giddy because he makes time for you. He's literally sitting in a cell block waiting for the fucking phone to ring, waiting for his turn to make a phone call. He's literally sitting in a cell block waiting for his turn to make a phone call, hoping and praying somebody's going to answer the call, hoping and praying somebody's going to put money on his books, hoping and praying somebody could take 5 minutes out of his day so that he is not sitting and just dwindling his life away and his imagination away in jail. He would talk to his dad again. He would talk to the devil himself if it would give him 5 minutes outside of his mind inside of that jail. But you know him so well. Guys, the sentencing is tomorrow, the 27th of August. It's a Wednesday. No, it's a Tuesday. The 27th of August. It's a Tuesday. It's tomorrow. There's something happening at 9 a.m. I want to check that out, but I think the sentencing's at 2 p.m. But I'm going to check things out at 9 a.m. and see. And if there is something, I'm going to get on here live. Guys, what do you think of this? This is a joke. They finally cut him off as far as this goes, and that's what they needed to do. Because he was living a lot more comfortable than a lot of innocent people out there in this world. That's fucked up, isn't it? Guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Don't forget, be better today than you were yesterday. Not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Always, always be kind. Thanks, guys.